Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Ed. Today we're going to be talking again about BIOC. My previous DD is in the description if you want to check it afterwards. Please make sure to drop a like on this video to help this channel grow, subscribe to get the latest out of contents, and leave your notifications on. So without further ado, I'm going to go through technical analysis, and then I'm going to go forward towards news and how to trade the stock and perhaps future catalysts coming up. So first things first, you look in terms of the MACD. It looks like it actually did receive a reversal yesterday and really paid off today. Extremely bullish. Volume is higher than the day before in terms of the MACD alone. Average directional index suggests that there is a strong trend forming. That William percent R puts it at overbought, so that's a little bit dangerous on the William percent R perspective. Momentum seems to be really high. That's a good sign here. 10 SMA above the 30 EMA, that's bullish, and the stock price is above both the 200 SMA, which is in blue, and the 50 SMA, which is in purple. So moving averages look very bullish. Now the only bearish thing looking at here would be the William percent R, where it's sitting at overbought. So we need to look into the 1 hour perspective. So moving on to the 1 hour perspective, what we get to see here is that the stock price is above the trading action zones where reversals are likely, and it did test it once and it did see a really nice reversal. Did test it again and saw a little bit of a jump. We're seeing here a stock price where the 50 SMA and the 200 SMA is still under the price. It's above the VWAP, and the 10 SMA is above 30 EMA. Again, bullish. Now, on the average directional index, it did hit above 50 around 2 p.m. today before it fell. Usually above 50 is the warning sign where you would consider selling. It's a 49.87, so it is as well another warning sign on the average directional index, where it basically signals a trend that might not be very much stable. On the momentum, on the MACD here, you get to see that it's actually giving in basically the same alert where it says it might not be stable, but it also has a chance of returning backwards. So you want to look into the MACD in the morning and see if it actually dips more. We're looking at a stock where William percent R is also overbought throughout the day, and momentum that is really close to almost all-time high on terms of the momentum here. Volume here seems to be a very healthy volume all throughout the day from 10 p.m. onwards. So it looks somewhat bullish here on the 1 hour perspective, except a couple of things where it does give you a warning sign, such as the average directional index and William percent R, as well as the MACD. So now moving on forward towards the moving average band. Moving average band, where the stock is supposed to be trading between, is a 0.8 on top, 0.73 middle, and 0.66 in terms of the bottom. So that's where you would expect this stock to play on. So it's way above that already. Now moving on towards the Fibonacci Retracements, I had to look into the 3 months first, and then I'm going to do through the trends in a second. So on there, what we're going to be seeing here is that there is a support sitting at a 0.9 currently, another one sitting at a 0.89, and then we're seeing another one sitting at 0.85, and then we're seeing another one in Fibonacci 0.84, 0.83 in terms of traditional, and then we're seeing 0.81, we're seeing 0.79, both on Fibonacci and traditional, and then we're looking at 0.78, 0.77, 0.76, 0.75, 0.74. Feels like we're going every cent. 0.73, 0.72, and then straight down to 0.7. Actually 0.71 over here, and then straight down to 0.7, around 0.69 instead of 0.7. Well, 0.7 then 0.69. So it feels like every cent down there is a resistance, support. In terms of current trends and what we're seeing in terms of patterns, this did play through already. What we're seeing currently is just a massive jump in terms of a trend line. It's a massive, really uptrend. Trying to look into the 3 months here quickly to see if there's a trend line we can actually see. So taking a quick look here. There we go. In terms of the trend line, so this trend line has been broken before, and it does look that the price is above that trend line somehow. But the current trend line sitting is 0.68. That's the bottom of the trend line. Now moving on towards latest news, but before moving forward, just to scan when its earnings are happening, just to double check, and it doesn't seem that it has any earnings coming up in the very short term. Moving on to news here. So first of all, you're going to get to see institutional shares. UBS Group AG has deducted their shares by 98%. They have the left out shares is around 1,300. So it looks like they had almost 100,000 shares from my understanding at 0.51 that they sold out a few days ago on the 31st of July. And another institutional buyer around 31st at around 11,800 shares. And it doesn't show the average price. In terms of insider buyings here, nothing that I've seen recently in terms of insider purchases. All the way back to, let's double check here. Actually, there was a sale back in, not last month, but the month before at sometime. Yeah, so this was a direct around 0.55 in terms of the average share price. Now, the stock price is, of course, above that, so it still looks healthy there. Moving on, what we get to see is one of the latest 8K forms. So there is a vote happening. There was different things they were voting on. So the last thing that they were voting on, from my understanding, is well, I'm just gonna read here quickly, and then we're gonna move forward on it. So, okay, so proposal 4, which sought to approve an amendment to company's certificate of incorporations to effect a reverse split of the company's common stock at a ratio between 1.5 and 1 to 5 and to 1 to 30. So basically what they're saying is that the vote is going to be during the reconvened annual meeting on July 31st, 2020. It was adjourned to allow additional time for voting on proposal 4, and that will reconvene at 1:30 p.m. Pacific time on August 18th. Due to public health concerns arising from COVID-19 pandemic, the reconvened annual meeting will once again be completed virtually and conducted via webcast. So there is a reverse split vote happening on the 18th of August, so that's still a little bit far off. Of course, there's no, like, the price has been increasing quite a little, or quite a bit actually. So then we might, if it stays above $1 for quite a bit before it hits the 18th, then a reverse split is unlikely. Why would they make a reverse split on that case? Now moving on forward, one of the latest news that we got today is they're going to be in the conference here happening on September 1st to September 4th on 2020, exclusively online for LD Micro or LD 500. So some other big companies happening here. For instance, you can see Acer or Alpine for Technologies. That's another one I made my DD on. Iro. You can get to see a lot of names that we're familiar with. So there is quite a bit of companies doing there as well. So it's gonna that's a positive news. People are anticipating some news happening there, but that's all the way all the way ahead on September 1st. Now, one of the news that we had as well recently on August 3rd was the announced distribution of nearly 12,000 specimen collection kits to clients, and has currently availability of approximately 18,000 kits for immediate distribution. So that's amazing news in terms of COVID kits. With COVID numbers still on the rise and still significant, it still is a COVID play that has basically ability to go on towards testing. They have received 7,000 specimens and processed more than 6,500 COVID-19 specimens to date using the PCR 4 technology and its CLA LIA certified CAP accredited high quality complexity molecular lab. So, yep, COVID news, COVID play, and they're testing. So how would I play this? Now, I myself am not a fan of getting into more of a hype stock, but this is really becoming more of a hype stock. And the only thing that I would be very careful on is not try to buy it on a pullback. And you get to see the stock has received multiple times a pullback right here, and it still jumps back. Pull back right here and jumps back, so it really is following up a really nice kind of perhaps it's a channel. So let's draw here quickly a channel. I'm gonna draw it starting from here. I'll probably say that the channel probably looks somewhere like this here. It's been trading in the bottom half of the channel. I would definitely want to see it more trading a little bit closer toward the bottom of the first half or on the bottom half before I consider entry. Now, with different indicators, it is considering sell / hold situation right there, where the technicals did give more of an indication of a trend that might be a little bit stopping, but it's definitely going to be a high play. Now on a red day, this might actually dip a little, so you want to be very careful. Now, where would I consider selling if it dips below? Definitely around the 0.79 mark. I would definitely stop my put my stop limit over there, because it's the 50 SMA line on 0.67 on the 1 day over there as well. So it's definitely an interesting hold slash perhaps sell consideration, but I wouldn't buy it at this current moment at this price. If it does jump and it sees another 10% or 20%, hey, I did not lose money. Yes, I did lose opportunity, but the market always has opportunity. What do you think about the sticker? Make sure you mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like, and you have a wonderful day.